A big whine of those things. I mean, to hear a big saw, it's just something that messes with your mind. Like, I know not to get near that.
Was there any, kind of safety training or different things that they had you do there? I mean, did you feel safe working there?
Yes, they gave you safety training as far as the goggles and things, what to do and what not to do, the do's and the don'ts of the OSHA training and things like that. But again, it still was a penal colony, a penal institution. And so safety kind of was reduced to, do what's smart to stay alive.
So how do consumers feel about using prisoners to make products? To find out, I went to the local mall. Shopper Sharita Woodrow felt prison labor was okay under certain circumstances.
I think when prisoners work to maintain their own facilities and to maintain themselves without having to use government funds in a way or to decrease the amount of government funds being used, I think that's a good thing.
Shopper Lenise Harris was divided on the issue. So in terms of, what do you think? Should we use inmate labor? Should companies use inmate labor?
Well, I guess it depends on really how you look at it, because we're such a consumer-driven society and we don't realize how things are being made. I didn't even know about the prison labor until you told me. But I guess I would much rather knowing that someone in the United States that's in prison is trying to make it within the four walls is doing it versus, children labor across seas where they're making clothes and not getting paid for it either.
Now, what about the whole idea that having prisoners do work inside jails, that takes away jobs from people on the outside?
Well, that's a thought, too. I didn't even think of it like that. But they have to have something to do with inside those walls, too. Besides, I know they offer classes and things of that sort, but, I feel like that they need to be productive, too. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because it is a cop-out for these companies who could pay someone a lot more, and if they're going straight to the prisoners because they know they can pay them cheaper, then it is a cop-out when someone outside who is unemployed is capable of doing a job. So I see it's a double-edged sword, Now you're really stumbling me. Everybody wants something, and they always want it for free. Even when you go and get something done in your house or whatever, you're trying to find the best person to do it. So it is a cop-out for these companies because they have the money and they can do better than that, So I guess that it makes my other statement invalid. I didn't even know Macy's was one of those companies that was doing that, So if you educate the public more, then they may be a little choosier on how and where they shop and how they do things.
Okay.
Maybe.
Another shopper who didn't want to be identified gives prison labor the thumbs up. So you think that it's okay for them to do that?
If they feel like it's okay, whatever works for them.
A lot of people who are against prison labor say that in the United States, we say we don't want China using their prisoners to do forced labor.
Keyword forced.
Forced labor. Okay.
Right. Okay. That's all. Forced labor. The labor is not forced, right?
In some states, actually it is. And the biggest proponents of making people work can be other prisoners. Again, Etta from the Sew Shop.
There are a lot of people who come to jail and just want to lay around and do absolutely nothing. And we have a place for those people where they do absolutely nothing, and it's called C-Wing. However, the people that do want to work show up for work every day. And you have few who don't want to work, and those people are dealt with accordingly.
Some say prisoners are so adamant about working because there's nothing else to do. Over the last several years, education and drug rehab has been replaced by another way to reform prisoners: work. In 1994, the federal grants to send prisoners to college were abolished. Again, Heather Thompson.
It's interesting because they did this despite strong resistance from the Department of Education, and even though all studies suggested that that was the best way to stop people from committing crimes again and to allow them to enter society with a meaningful skill, with a meaningful trade. And yet, again, we were in a much more conservative time. We did not like the idea of educating prisoners, even if it meant that they were going to commit fewer crimes. And it was kind of ironic because at the end of the day, only 0.1% of Pell Grants even went to educate prisoners.
Gina went to school to learn computers. She was offered a computer tech job but was not able to take it because she was turned down for parole.
I wasn't going to go back to Arizona right away because I know it's a good position for somebody like me. You know, I've never had a real job out there before I got locked up, and being able to do it, you know, being able to have a job sitting there waiting for me, ready, doing something that that I really love, I was definitely going to stay and give it a chance.
Training in school is okay for Ron Blackwell, but work is not. Blackwell is the chief economist for the AFL-CIO.
Same reason that we would oppose slavery, because people have compromised rights. We would oppose forced labor or imprisoned labor, because people, of course, in prison are forced to work. This is something that we are opposed to. Labor should be free.
If labor should be free, prison labor not only comes with a cost for some, but benefits for others. Heather Thompson, professor at the University of North Carolina.
There is a business of building prisons, which, that is prison labor sort of differently construed, that is very profitable, a lot of money to be made. Then there's a prison labor, ordinary people who want jobs get jobs in a prison, right? They can, free world workers, they become guards, they become maintenance workers, they become cooks, they become whoever in the prison. So that's a kind of prison labor. And then there's the labor of the prisoners themselves. And all of those things are dependent upon not solving the crime problem, not keeping people out of jail, not keeping, getting people off of drugs, for example, since so many of the crimes are drug-related, and so forth.
As America grapples with its ever-growing prison population, demand for the labor, goods, and services that these prisoners do and could produce will have to be grappled with as well. If history is an indication, then the story of prison labor in the U.S. is far from over. For Free Speech Radio News, I'm Karen Miller.
You've been listening to an exclusive FSRN documentary titled Prison Labor, made in the U.S.A. with reporter Karen Miller. Produced by Vinod K. Jose. Technical production by Antonio Ortiz. This documentary is made possible by Pacifica Radio, community radio affiliate stations, and listener supporters. I'm Aura Bogado. We return to our regularly scheduled newscast on Monday. Have a great weekend.